are on the team sheet there at Lancashire aside.
Yeah.
Who are the danger men that you'd tell the fans at home to be looking out for this evening?
Yeah, so Caleb Watts. So Caleb would be 19 years of age. We signed him from QPR as a youngster, and he was actually in the Olympics with Australia and played out there recently. So he's a young player. He's already made his debut for the first team. So he came on as sub several times for the first team last year. Notably coming on, I think, away to Man City. So he would be one to watch. Kazim Elegby. So Kazim's a Belgian international. Again, a young player, a first-year pro with us. But great technical skills, and hopefully tonight will be a good opportunity for him to show what he's all about. And then finally, Kegs Chorke, who came from one of our London development centres, who we think is certainly a real prospect for the future. And then we've got some really young ones. We've got some babies out there tonight, some 16-year-olds who have only just joined us full time, but ones that we would like to think can progress. And this is probably a big step for them tonight. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they perform at this level.
Absolutely, and Southampton as a club have such a great history of bringing through young talent and seeing them either achieve success with the club or go on and onto higher levels. And there's one player, Luke Shaw, playing tonight as we speak against Old Boys in the Champions League. But it must be great to be able to provide this platform and in competitions like this help those players start that journey.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great initiative from the Premier League, and obviously we're grateful for the Football League clubs to enable us to join this competition. And it really does give the players a different experience that we can offer them within the under-23 academy environment. So, we're really excited about being here tonight and seeing how some of the young players perform.
We're excited as well. And the last time the O's faced Southampton in league action was over a decade ago. And there are a fair few familiar faces on the team sheet that day for both sides. Let's remind ourselves of the action that unfolded back in 2010.
Leyton Orient will be hoping to bounce back after last Saturday's heavy 4-0 defeat to Huddersfield Town as they welcome Southampton to Brisbane Road. That loss means they're only 2 points above the relegation zone. Improving Southampton, though, a win here in East London, and they could move out of the relegation places for the first time this season. Early pressure this from Leyton Orient. They are dangerous from set pieces. And a decent ball into the area. Bouncing around, Southampton can't clear their lines. Still Orient have it. Back it goes. That's a wonderful raking crossfield pass. In it goes to Makanda-Wiri. Beyond Kelvin Davis. Inside 2 minutes. The O's have the lead. The goal scorer, Tamika Makanda-Wiri, has taken a blow to the head. It was a brave header, that's for sure. And one which was perfectly placed in the top corner. Plenty of red shirts in the area. Whipped in dangerously again, and Southampton are all at sea defensively just at the moment. That should have been 2. Kelvin Davis thumps it forward. Lambert flicks it on well. And the striker will get it back. Looking to turn provider. Super header. Even better save for Morris. That's the closest the Saints have come. A bullet header. Reaction save. And that keeps Leyton Orient's lead intact. Who can grab a potentially key second goal in this fixture. Wonderful run from Townsend. Decent ball in. Disaster for Trotman. And Leyton Orient, with 11 minutes gone of the second period, have doubled their advantage. They're in complete control now. Townsend takes the plaudits. It was his run and cross. Neil Trotman will not want to see that again. Southampton still look confident they can get themselves back into this game. Here's Ricky Lambert. Great ball into the area and super defending. Otherwise, Papawago would surely have reduced the deficit. Just over 15 minutes remaining. Southampton need something and need it quick. Lovely move. There's Ricky Lambert. 3-3. And Southampton are back in this game. Leyton Orient's lead is cut down to 1. Flowing move. Lallana's ball was good. Lambert's finish, as ever, was instinctive. It's 2-1. Well, what a difference 10 minutes makes. Southampton look dead and buried at 2-0 down. Suddenly they can sense something. Here's Lambert this time on his left foot. Same outcome. His second. What a comeback. It's 2-2 with 6 minutes left. Harding comes forward. Suddenly Southampton think they can win it. Here's Ricky Lambert. He's on a hat-trick. Good defending. Panic stations at the back for Leyton Orient though. Good ball in, headed clear. A grandstand finish at Brisbane Road. Again, Leyton Orient clear their lines, but anywhere will do at the moment. Headed back in, can Alan Pardew's men snatch what would be a remarkable comeback victory? One last chance, perhaps Morris saves, and then it's bundled wide.
A massive thank you to Matt for joining us just then, and apologies if you experienced any sound issues watching at home at the early stages there. I think we've got it resolved now, so I'm glad you can hear us, and I'm of course joined here on a slightly smaller sofa now by Brendan Pitcher, and enough about Southampton, it's all about Orient now. Let's take a look through the starting lineup, Brendan, before I come to you. So in goal for the O's tonight, it's the slightly younger side, but it's number 27, Reece Byrne. Number 4, Callum Riley gets his first minutes in an O's shirt. Number 5, Dan Happy. Number 10, Dan Kemp, looking to make an impact tonight. Number 15, Alex Mitchell. Number 17, Tyrese Omotoye. Number 19, Omar Beckles, and he's captaining the side tonight. Number 20, Ruel Sotiriou. Number 23, Anthony Papadopoulos. Number 24, Jaden Sweeney. And number 26, Hector Cipriano. And on the subs bench, it's Young, Noah Phillips, Tom James, Connor Wood, Craig Clay, Matt Young, Dan Nkrumah, and Jeff T. Tanga. So there is the Young O's side facing Southampton under 21s tonight. And initial thoughts on this starting 11, Brendan?
It's an interesting one from an Orient point of view because there's a lot of players that we haven't seen so far this season. I think that there's players there who perhaps we have seen but haven't seen the best of and will be looking to prove themselves. And then there's like players like Callum Riley who are making their first real impact on the team, and we'll see how they're going to do today and see if he can get some fitness under his belt as well.
Absolutely, and that back three that I know Glenn likes to call it, Alex Mitchell, Dan Happy and Omar Beckles, it's the same as Saturday's game. Do you think that's Kenny showing that he wants to keep clean sheets, or do you think maybe we don't have too many other options?
I think centre-back's a position where you can kind of play a lot of minutes without getting too tired, and I think Kenny will be looking to build that relationship with the back three because I presume that's the back three he's going to look to start on Saturday. So I think that's going to be part of it. And yeah, like you say, but Kenny will be taking this seriously. We've seen with his Portsmouth teams in the past, he's reached the final in the last 2 seasons. So he's a manager that takes this competition seriously and will be looking to kind of progress it into the further stages of it.
But the fullback situation is looking slightly different though, and Jaden Sweeney probably didn't have the greatest game when he got his chance against Carlisle. It will be really good for him tonight to be able to kind of dust that off and put in a good performance and really show what he's about. Yeah,
I think you're fair to say he didn't have his best game against Carlisle in that game, and I think they picked on him a little bit. I think they targeted him. They used their physicality against him, and I think tonight is a nice kind of reintroduction for him because these players, he's playing against under 21s team, so they're not going to be as physical. They're not going to keep lumping a big man on top of him and exposing a little bit of his lack of physicality maybe. So yeah, hopefully he'll put in a more performance that we know he can put in tonight.
Absolutely, and looking more towards the striking department then, it looks as though it will be maybe Ruel Sotiriou and Tyrese Omotoye up there with Dan Kemp potentially out wide. But the one for me is Tyrese Omotoye. The rest of the strikers are all off the mark for this season. Tyrese isn't there just yet. Admittedly, he's had less minutes. But he'll be looking at a game like tonight and saying, I need to get my goal scoring boots on.
Yeah, definitely. We saw in even that pre-season game where he plays as a trialist, he clearly a confident young lad, and I think he won't have any qualms about kind of coming in and feeling the pressure. I think from what we've seen of him so far, he seems like he can handle it, and I think tonight's a perfect opportunity. Like you say, that front three there is quite exciting. There's a lot of movement in there, there's a lot of ability, and if they can click, it could be quite an exciting front three for Orient.
And we've just touched on him, but Dan Kemp, who do you think he'll be playing in that front three alongside Ruel and Tyrese?
Yeah, I think maybe just in behind as a 10. I think that's his best position. I think if he was going to pick a position, I think that's where he'd choose to play, and I think it will suit him because he can pick up a little bit of space. It's hard for Southampton, it will be hard for them to mark him, and hopefully he can kind of dictate the game from there and slide balls in to Ruel and Tyrese, who we know will be looking to run in behind and getting on goal.
And we spoke about Dan Kemp on Saturday and saying how he was on the bench, and if he came on he'd want to grab his opportunity. He did manage to get a few minutes against Oldham, very nearly scored, and he had his head in his hands afterwards, so obviously delighted that Harry Smith followed up. But he'll really be wanting to show Kenny what he can do and what he can offer to the team today.
Yeah, definitely. We all saw from that miss before Harry Smith scored, he didn't know whether to kind of be gutted that he missed himself or celebrate because Harry Smith put it in. But I think he's a player who could do with a little bit of confidence boosting right now because he's come out on the side, and I think tonight, as in we spoke about Jaden Sweeney, it's a perfect opportunity for someone who, like Dan Kemp, he's not the biggest of lads, but in a less physical game against a less physical side, hopefully he can really show his quality tonight and dictate a game, because we know he's got that quality. He just perhaps hasn't shown it at times this season yet.
Absolutely, and we're seeing Ruel and Hector come back in as well. They both obviously had a great time away with Cyprus. Do you think it's just a chance for them tonight to just get minutes back under the belt? How big a part can you see them two playing this season?
Yeah, I think it would have been. I think they probably would have stayed in the team from the last couple of games if they didn't go away on international duty. But when you go away and then you come back, you're going to have a little bit of like rustiness in your legs, perhaps. They've been travelling and so on. So for them to come back today, it's a nice little reintroduction for them. And like you say, I think they're going to be important for us this season. We've seen in a couple of seasons they played kind of cameos so far before this, but this season they can really push on and make the place in the starting 11 their own.
And the last outfield player to touch on, Anthony Papadopoulos making his full debut for the O's. What do you expect from him? We've seen a lot of clips and he's scored some absolute beauties. But what do you expect from Ant tonight? Yeah,
he seems like a player with a lot of technical ability. Like you say, we've seen some of his highlight reel and he looks like he scores some amazing goals. So hopefully he can pick out one of them tonight.
Absolutely. And just the last player that we haven't spoken about yet, also making his debut, another youngster, Reece Byrne. He, you know, as a goalkeeper, he's going to have hopefully a not too busy night. But again, he's going to have a chance to show what he's about.
Yeah, it's a big occasion for Reece. I think he would have expected to be third choice this season, but then Sam Sargent's gone out on loan. So for him to make his debut tonight, again, like we've spoken about, it's a nice introduction to the team for him, and hopefully he has a good night.
Hopefully indeed. Well, it is time now to pass over to Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock for the main spectacle. It's Leyton Orient versus Southampton under-21s. It's the Papa John's Trophy, and it's live.
And good evening, welcome to the Boyer Group Stadium, Brisbane Road. This might not be a night where there will be many supporters in E10, but for many of these younger players, it's a big occasion, and for some of the more experienced players, it's an opportunity to really stake their claim for consideration this Saturday, and of course Leyton Orient go to Bristol Rovers. And you don't say this very often, Matt, when a side is playing a Premier League team. Tonight, Leyton Orient are playing a former holder of this competition.
Very true, Dave, absolutely. And it's obviously the Southampton youngsters that are the test tonight for Kenny Jackett's side. And so I think you'd be hard to push it more than a run out for players that are on the fringes and perhaps not had much game time so far this campaign, and they'll be looking to impress Kenny Jackett ahead of what is the priority. The manager has already made that quite clear. Saturday, Bristol Rovers at the